Hey guys, so I just sold these. This is a complete Washington head silver quarter set from 1932 to 1964, plus a little bit of extra clad. But some lucky customer just bought these, and I need to show these to you because I need to pack them. But I was planning to make a video when I got a chance about all. Well, I just sold this one too. The other kind of collections I had to kind of show off because I have some pretty cool collections like this. I stopped fulfilling these, but I still have these left over. I just had this listed on eBay for $7.49 and it sold. So I'm going to show this to you. I guess I'll start on these because I got to pack it like right now. So here is book number 1. This is by far the most expensive one. And you'll see that these coins have the most wear on them as well. But that's because these coins were actually used in everyday transactions, and no one ever thought these coins would be worth more than 25 cents. But I'll zoom in and show you. So there's a 32p. You can see how rubbed it is, and that's still an expensive quarter, but not very expensive. That's pretty common. Now the 32D and the 32S, those, you're lucky if you get them for under $100 each. Those are extremely expensive coins. And you can see a lot of them are rubbed raw where you can't read anything, but these are in pretty fair condition. These in like condition probably don't exist, but they would probably be a few $1,000s if you could find them. So let's see. Here's a 34p, 34d, 35. It's been a while since I went through this, so I'll just kind of go over them and show you the mintages. But these were one of my first sets that I completed. My very first one was a Roosevelt Dime set. Those I've completed 2 full of them, and I think I'm working on a 3rd one. Those are pretty easy and pretty cheap to fill. All right, and okay, yeah. Let's go to this other side. But I could probably make a better video, but I think you get the idea of the layout and what the coinage is. So I'm just kind of going over and showing you the mints. And this is a real good way to learn the key dates of any kind of coin, is to buy one of these books and try to fill it. You will soon learn which ones are the hardest to find, and you'll understand why they're more expensive. And when you start trying to source these, especially if you're going through like a bucket of random coins or you come across one, it's extremely exciting when you find a rare one. Now, what me and my son consider low is anything under 10 million. And that's just us. Anything under 10 million is a low or a semi-key date. And when you get closer to like under 1 million, those are rare. So that's just kind of what we go by. So anything that's lower than 10 million to us is key or semi-key, and anything under 1 mil is rare. That's just how me and my son's always done it. Everybody has their own kind of preferences. So on to book 2. So here's book 2. I bought this one as a set, so this entire one. So I was able to save a little bit of time, but you can still see the person that collected this and sold it to me. It probably took them, years if they did it. Pretty cheaply, but you could go to eBay and buy all of these, but it would be extremely expensive if you try to source these out. Trying to complete these books is something that takes years. It's not something you can do in a weekend or even a month, or something you could do for cheap. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of money to complete one of these. So I'll just go over these mintages. You'll see these mintages are much higher than the last book, but there's still some pretty low ones. 4 mil, 4.2 mil in that one. And when you work on these books, like I said, you start to learn which quarters are worth just their silver melt and which ones are more numismatic. And that's something good to learn. So I would advise everybody to start filling out one of these books. I would really start with the Roosevelt Dimes. And I think I have one here to show you, but you can just kind of see. And on a lot of the low mint years, there's something correlated with it. So either a war or a recession or a depression, or there might have been something like in 1921, the U.S. Mint started minting a lot of peace dollars and not Mercury, but Morgan dollars. I don't have a set for those. I'm not honestly a big Morgan fan, but anything 21, like the dimes, quarters, and half dollars, they're all low mint. And there's a few years like 22, 23. It's different for each coinage where there is none. There's no coins minted that year. Right, and on the book 3, this one only has a few silver coins in it. Pretty much everything on this page. And you can see by the end of the silver minting time, you can see just how many they started minting. So you can see 31, pretty much 62, 63, 40, 83 million, 39 million, 127 million. It gets even crazier than that. 77 mil, 135 million, 564 million. You ready? 700 million. There were 700 million 64Ds minted. And that's just insane. And when you go to Clad, 1.8 billion. That's just how many quarters are out there. Now, I love finding a 65 quarter, but I kind of hate it. But there's it's kind of like bittersweet because they look like they're silver, and they'll trick you, and then when you read the 5, you get a little depressed and upset. They're still kind of cool, and me and my son, if we see any that's in good shape, we do save them, but they're only worth 25 cents, and the rest here are just 25 cents. They're not even worth 26. They're just 25 cents, and that's why I didn't finish this book because. Trying to source these, you might actually start paying more than 25 cents. So, that was the last of the silver years. Sad. I hope it comes back one day. But here's the whole set of quarters, so you can see how many quarters it takes. That's every single Washington silver quarter. So this just sold for $450, and it's pretty expensive to finish one of these. This probably actually took me over a year. It probably took me closer to a year and a half to finish this. And the Mercury Dimes have always been my favorite silver coin. I know a lot of people say that they love the Morgans, they love the Walker half dollars, but my favorite silver U.S. coin of all time has always been the Mercury Dime. So I have so much of them. I just buy them every time I see them. I'm willing to pay $3 when the melt is $2.50. That's no problem at all. I just buy every single one I can find. So I'll go over, you'll see that some of these are rubbed, and you'll almost never see the 1916s and 1920s in good shape. Unless you're looking for like a certified one that's in extremely good shape, you're going to pay a F ton of money. Almost cussed. So starting with the 1916P, these are pretty common. If you find this in this kind of shape, it's worth about $3. But right next to it, the 1916D, if you find this one, it is a $600 to $1,000 coin, depending on quality. But the cheapest I've seen is about $550, and I almost bought it, and I was going to buy it to complete this set because it's the only one that's not in this set. But if I bought it for $550, I would have to definitely sell it for about $650 to even kind of break even with after all the eBay fees. And I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna have to sell this for $1,100, $1,200 maybe. So I just decided to. I even put it in the comment and in the description. I said I would buy it if I knew there was a serious buyer. But anyways, I'll let the future customer do that. And you'll see that, like I said. Before that, me and my son always consider anything under 10 mil semi-key and then 1 mil rare. So you can see there is quite a bit before 1921. So the ones between 1916 and 1918, 1916 and 1918 are pretty common, except for the 1916D. And then when you get closer to 1919, 1920s, they start to get lower minted. Except for 1920. These, if you ever find these in this kind of shape, They're worth melt. Now this one is actually pretty good, but I'm talking about kind of rubbed raw, because you'll find a lot of the not Morgan, but the Mercury Dimes kind of raw in this kind of shape. It's pretty common for them to be raw in this kind of shape. They're only worth about $2.53 or around melt, maybe a little bit more, maybe $3, because Mercuries are always worth above melt to me. But when you get closer to 1930s or so, you should look out for the better ones. But between 1960 and 1918, if you see them rubbed raw, don't worry about getting them unless you can get them from melt. All right, moving on. So the 1919s is where they start to get low mint. So you can see, I'll just kind of scroll through them. And then when you get the 1921, both of these are 1.2 mil and 1.1 mil. Then it goes straight to 1923. There were no 1922 dimes. You can see 6.4 mil, 24 mil. This is when they started producing them again. But still, the D's and S's are always lower mintage. So you see the P's are pretty common. And also, when you get into the late 20s, like here, 26, S, 27D, like I said, the D's and S's are always lower mint. When you get closer to the late 20s, you can see the mintages goes lower and then back up. But once you start stacking these, and it's always good to have a book, because you'll learn about the mintages and the rarities if you get one of these books and try to fill it. Because some of these, even like a 30S, I love 30Ss. I sell 30Ss for about $20 each, maybe $15 each, depending on the quality. But they will sell. And also the 31S. The 31S and 31D, those sell really good too. So if you're collecting them, they kind of flip them. If you find the 30S, the 31D, and the 31S, if you find those for a good price, just buy them, because you can make a little bit of profit. Of course, that money would go to completing the book. So if you ever get one of those duplicates, that's a good day. And that's kind of how I completed these books. I bought and sold to buy more, bought, sold to buy more, and that's kind of how I've done a lot of my collections. So when you hear me talk about I sold this, I sold that, that money always goes right back into these. So it's kind of just a way to help finance completing these. And then I sell them to someone else, and I've done all the labor. So all my labor was free. And you can see once you get closer to the 44, the mintages just get crazy. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, so quickly I'll move on to Roosevelt Dimes. I actually have two complete books. This one I'm just going to show you really quickly because the other one underneath is nicer. Oh, there's one falling out. Whatever. But with Roosevelt Dimes, you should try your best to get them in unk, because these are pretty common. These continue to go on after 1964. But these are pretty common. Most people just treat these as melt kind of bullion, so I'll move on to the better one. This one I do not have listed anywhere. I haven't decided if I even want to sell it. I've had it completed in this condition for over a year. I bought this at a yard sale for $75, and the guy had a sticker that said appraised at $400, but it did come with a nickel set and a penny set, but none of those were silver. Only this one was silver. So these are all pretty much unk. I think the 48 is kind of odd. That's a very common one. Actually got the mintages here to kind of go over which ones are worth more than melt, because there's not many key or semi-key dates with the Roosevelt. Actually, there's none under 10 million, unless you consider the proofs, and there are some. But so you can see they're all pretty much unk, and they might look a little worse than they actually look in the raw, because they're in this plastic. I don't know if it's vinyl. It might be, vinyl is not good for coins. They did come in like 3 different protectors, like a kind of pill form kind of cap that I'll show you, and and then some kind of yellow other protector. I took most of the little yellow protectors off because they turned yellow and like nearly orange. There might be a couple in here that you can still see. And look at the back. These are all just beautiful. And I've kept these for so long because I thought, well, one day these might be worth more than just $2, $2.50 maybe. So I kind of wanted to take advantage and just keep these as kind of like my personal Roosevelts. So one day they'll be worth a little bit more than just any other Roosevelt. I don't know. Maybe in 30 years they'll be worth a good bit. You can see, let me take this out real quick. So you can see how it looks a little yellow, but if I take it out of this pill case, it is really nice and silvery. And you can see that some of that vinyl or whatever has kind of gotten onto the coin, but they're still beautiful. And every single one is like this, except for that 48 full band or whatever. Like I said, these are not, none of these are rare or semi-key date or anything like that. And this book has all of the series, so from 46 all the way to 64. Then it has a few extras like this 50S, which I think has a mint of 20. I printed them all out here. You can see the rarest business strike or whatever they're called is a 49S. So that one's 13 mil. The rest are all above that. There's a 12 mil 55. Oh yeah, the 55P I guess is the lowest mint. Yeah, and the 55D. So the 55, the 55S, and the 55D are probably the best to collect. And the 49S. But you can see that one, this person put MS66, but to me it just kind of looks normal. And then here are some of the proofs. It came with, let me zoom in a little bit more. It came with a 53 proof. Look at his eyebrows, look at the detail on the eyebrows. And then 54 proof, 59 proof, a deep cameo 56, a proof 57, a proof 58, proof 59, proof 60, 61, and then has a proof 62, 63, 64, and then some proofs. There was a proof 50, a proof 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. I've sold all those. I just sold those at like $5 each, maybe. I forgot exactly how much I sold them for. And then there's a 71, 70, and then on to 75, I think. 78. And with the proofs, you can see that if you're going after the proofs for the rarity, you definitely want the 50P, the 50 proof. That one has 51K, and the 51, so 50 is 51K. The 51 is 57K, and you can see once it gets to the 53 and on, the numbers grow into the millions. So for the Roosevelt Dimes, I'll probably start on one of these, because these books you can get at a coin shop used for like $1, maybe $2. I always get them for $1 at the coin shop by me. They just put them out there. It might be a little beat up, but they're $1. If you go to like Hobby Lobby or somewhere else, these are going to be closer to $6 to $8. And this case right here is about a $25, $30 case empty. Some of the older cases, like I'm going to show you in part 2. I'm going to end this video because my phone's getting full. But this is a Waits Common Green, very old, Buffalo Nickel and Jefferson Nickel. Now these older books go for about $30 each. And then I do have in the part 2, I'm going to show you is my Walk-in Liberty. This is going to blow your mind. And I have another one on the way, and maybe by the time I get to doing part 2, it'll be here. So I'll show you these two, and I have also a 20th century typeset I'll show you in part 2. Alright, well thank you for watching part 1 and stay tuned to part 2. Thanks, like, subscribe, and comment.